eSaleshub video on the difference between phone call tracking and phone call analytics. My name is Mark Taylor and I'm the CEO of eSaleshub, and I've put this video together just to really show you the difference between call tracking, which has been around for some time. It's actually where eSaleshub started as a platform, right the way through to call analytics, which is what we have, an artificial intelligence powered platform now that gives you data and data insight in a more real-time way. So what I'm going to do with this video is just take you through the differences and show you our platform so you can see the difference between call tracking, which you're probably used to, and call analytics, which can give you a hell of a lot more insight into your customers. Now, first thing to say is spoiler alert, been desperate to do this in one of our videos. If you're a big fan of the Avengers, YouTube was littered with spoiler videos last year. Desperate to get a spoiler alert in one of our videos. I'm going to be giving away quite a few of the secrets behind our technology in this video. I think it's important to be transparent with clients and to show the difference in our solution compared to others, and actually how we generate high converting leads versus potential other sources, so that you can see the difference in the technology. So let's start by looking at call tracking. So what is phone call tracking? So essentially what phone call tracking does, it tells you that you've had a call, and it might well relate that call to a piece of activity that you've done online. So it gives you the date, the time, the caller's number, the call recording, and it may well give you a low level of click information. So it might give you the source, it might give you the match type that's come via Google Ads. But essentially what this is doing, what phone call tracking does, is it gives you information that you've had a call. And when eSaleshub started, we built our first platform 3-4 years ago. My frustration is great, so it tells me I've got a call, but to find out what's actually happened to that call, I've got to go and listen to the call recording. And if you're getting hundreds of calls a day, that's a hell of a lot of hours to spend listening to calls. Now, you could also dedupe, the calls versus CRM data, but again, you're very much reliant on the CRM data that's been loaded up, and if it's been loaded manually, it's probably got mistakes in it. Telephone numbers might not be 100% accurate. The data in it might not be accurate. So actually, trying to work out, and for me, it's trying to solve this issue of, I've got a call over here, I've got some sales over here. How do I connect the two together so that I can optimize my Google or Facebook or online campaign, so I can optimize for sales value, for sales conversion, for average invoice value, just like you can do on an e-commerce site. And obviously it's very, very difficult to do when you talk about an online click going into an offline environment. And that's really why we created eSaleshub Analytics, is because we use AI to actually understand what's happened on the call, so that very, very quickly we can establish the really, really good keywords versus the really, really bad keywords. Now, I think the main thing is the difference between call tracking and call analytics is data. And it's this gap in data, and a lot of our clients have said it's similar to navigating a black hole. You've got calls on one side, you've got sales on the other. I'm driving more calls, but my sales aren't going up. I'm driving more calls, but my sales are going down. Why is this happening? And it's that black hole of missing data in the middle, which is really where our call analytics comes in, because rather than just giving you information, you've had a call. What we're able to do is provide you with actual insights, so you can see very, very quickly the effectiveness of your online campaign. Now, to actually show you how this works, I'm just going to do a quick view of our analytics portal so that you can see exactly how call analytics works different from call tracking. So just logging you into a client here, what you can see here is on the left hand side you've got date, time, caller's number. These are things that you'd normally get from a call tracking solution. And as you can see here, I've blurred out some of the data because it's client sensitive. So right up until about here, where you've got your call duration recording, that's generally the level of data that you would get from a call tracking solution. Where the fun starts is really here. So what our artificial intelligence does is it scores the call. So based on a number of different parameters, including call talk time, the outcome of the call, what's happened on the call, our artificial intelligence actually rates that call out of 10. Now, depending on the client, we can obviously affect that rating depending on what the client wants to see. But essentially what the AI does is it takes the call, we put it through artificial intelligence to actually establish what's happened on that call. Now, with this client, they're very, very keen to know how many of their leads have turned into appointments, because they know that for every 10 appointments that they go to, 8 of them they actually get a sale from. So they've got an 80% conversion from appointment to sale. So for them, they want to know their online campaign, how many appointments is it driving. But obviously what you'll also see here is out of scope. Now, if you're using call tracking, you'd probably see that you had 11, 12 calls. Great, I'm doing my job, I've got 11, 12 calls. But actually, if 2 of them are out of scope and 2 of them are duplicate, you're actually getting a much, much higher conversion from the actual sales calls that you're getting as opposed to all calls. And we know from our experience that, for every 10 calls, you're probably going to get 6 to 7 that are real sales calls. Now, that can have a massive impact on your conversion. You could actually be reporting inaccurate data and actually trying to establish, what's going on in your business, what's potentially holding you back. You can very, very quickly understand, with an hour, our platform updates every hour, you can very quickly understand exactly what's happening. Then obviously what we have here is the CRM data, so that we can see that once we identified a lead has gone to an appointment or a quote, we can pull down the relevant CRM data and ensure that there's a full data view of exactly every single customer that's turned into an appointment or a quote or has stayed as a lead, so that we can start segmenting those customers. Now, because we're tracking the outcome via keyword, via source, what it enables you to do is do some really cool optimization to a whole total different level. So one of those examples, which I'm going to give you, which is here, this is, and I've blanked out quite a bit of it because obviously it's very sensitive information. So here you've got the keywords that have been driving calls over the last month. Here you've got quotes, and here you've got sales. Now, what's really interesting is, and you can't necessarily see it, is that this keyword here is actually driving this amount of sales here. And straight away, what this does is if I was using call tracking, I'd be kind of, well, I'm doing my job because I'm driving lots and lots of calls. But actually, if you're a marketing manager, marketing director, sales manager, sales director, or business owner, driving calls is one thing, but actually what you want is sales. And actually, the pattern that we spotted was this third keyword here, or the third largest that drove volume, actually drove the most of their sales. And so what it enabled us to do on behalf of the client was to optimize their campaign. Now, some of our clients use this for a fully managed option where we manage everything from buying AdWords through to charge them per lead. And we do all of this work in the background. Other clients license our platform because they want this data insight. And I think one of the key things when you think about optimizing your online campaign is it is taking your if you like, your offline sales conversions and almost giving you the insight that you would normally get from a fully online campaign, almost like an e-commerce solution. You've got that much transparency of the performance of different keywords and different sources and different channels. It can really, really make a big difference to driving your cost per lead down and overall driving your cost per sale down. So not sacrificing sales volume, but actually getting that cost per sale, a lot lower, making you a lot more profitable. So I think the key takeaways for me is why would you choose phone call analytics? Well, it's about generating actual data insights in real time. I mean, I remember when I was at Halfords and I tried to take our call tracking data and tried to dedupe it against sales data. It would almost take me a week of deduping to get a day's worth of data, and that in itself was up to 6 to 8 weeks out of date. That's the time it used to take us. Whereas with phone call analytics, you can understand customer insights a lot quicker. So the first thing is obviously sales KPI management. You're getting your sales KPI management by the hour, understanding exactly what is happening for every call that's been generated, whether it's a sales call, whether it's an out of scope, a duplicate, and what's happened to that sales call. Has it moved to appointment? Have you sold it? Is there a quote? All those levels of KPI management. It just gives you a whole suite of KPIs that you can start managing your business and your teams off the back of in real time. Second thing is demographic insight, because you're tracking the customer and almost like their journey, if you like, or their sales funnel journey with you. You can now append call data, so whether it's a mobile phone number or a home telephone number, you can append it to data. So you can start to understand actually the demographics behind those customers that convert very, very highly, and your best customers versus those customers that you don't convert. Because it's all well and good understanding short term, great, I'm getting a 10, 15%, 20% sales conversion, but actually what you want to know is what's happened to the other 90, 85, 80% of customers that you didn't convert. Why didn't they buy from you? And demographically profiling them is a really good way to understand the different consumer groups that your brand appeals to. Also, I think with call analytics, it's finding those things that are holding your business back. Are you dropping calls? Is there a specific salesperson that just isn't converting on the phone and needs a bit more training? What are your real performance KPIs? Really understanding what's holding back your business is a really good outcome of phone call analytics. You'll be able to understand very, very quickly what's holding you back and what you need to do to make changes, drive things forward. We had a client who was live with us for 3 hours. They'd licensed our platform. Within 3 hours, you could see straight away that they had an availability issue in Scotland. They redid the rota. Before they did the rota, they were converting at 27%. When they redid the rota, they were converting at 64%. And it was all down to just changing the rota so that there were more engineers available at a certain point in the day than on other days. And that's what led to the increase in sales conversion. It wasn't anything that we'd done. It wasn't anything that Google had done. It was just understanding what the problem was that was holding them back, fixing that problem, and then measuring that fix to see if it made the required change. I also think with call analytics, you'll find out what your customers really think about you through the AI. You can use it to interpret the data. So, what keywords are people using? What are they saying on the phone? What are they asking about? What are their biggest fears? All these types of things. You can do quite a lot of analysis on the call itself to really understand what customers are talking about. And the final thing, and I've kind of mentioned this before, is understanding sales conversion and return on investment accurately. I think with call tracking, because you see 10 calls, not all those 10 are going to be sales calls. And there may well be some that are completely out of scope because you might even be using the wrong keywords and it's driving the wrong behavior. Without understanding what happens on every single call, it's going to be difficult to know the difference between a good call and a bad call and essentially what's going to affect your sales. But why would you go to the lengths of implementing phone call analytics for your business? Well, for me, it's about generating more profit. If you can use actual insights to lower your cost per lead and lower your cost per sale by bidding for those keywords that drive either a sales conversion or a higher value sales conversion, it will make you more profitable as a business. And that's really why eSaleshub are in business. We develop this platform so that our clients, whether they choose the managed solution where we manage everything on their behalf and they pay per lead, or they license the platform to get better insight on what's happening with their lead generation campaigns. Our analytics platform will enable you to see actually where is the low-hanging fruit, where are the opportunities for me to generate more profit within my lead generation campaign. So that's the end of the video. I hope you've enjoyed watching it. As ever, please do leave us any comments below or any questions, and hopefully see you soon. Thank you very much.